Hey guys, got here. Weird late off schedule release of this video, but I had to cover it as soon as I actually realized it was happening after my stream. Usually I do my videos before my streams, but something is super wrong with DBD right now. I was playing on a couple of maps, namely Cowshed and Crotus Pren Asylum, and I was noticing like, damn, I feel like there's a lot of pallets on these. Maybe I just got unlucky or something like that, because there's a pallet like every 3 feet. I thought maybe I was going crazy, but then I actually went and started testing and looking at basically every map in the game. And we found out, yeah, basically every non-static map, a static map is like RPD where it's all just the same static structures. Almost every non-static map has significantly more pallets. I don't mean like they just threw a couple, like 1 or 2 more to the outskirts. Most maps in DBD typically have between like 10 and 14 pallets, just like roughly on average. It can be plus or minus a couple there. I tested for an hour straight, and I'm going to show you some of these. I tested for an hour straight, and most maps now have minimum 19 to 20 to 21, 22. Like, it's not even like we went from, like, 10 to 13 or, like, 13 to 15. We literally got, like, between 50 and 100% more pallets on almost every map in the game. And originally, I was thinking, oh, I bet I know what happened. It was probably 2v8. I'm playing on a map that's on 2v8. Maybe they toned up the 2v8 numbers in 1v4 by accident. So there's like, still a bunch of pallets and the generation screwed up there. That's fine. But then I tried a different map that wasn't in 2v8. Like I tried Ironworks of Misery, which is not in 2v8. And that map still had 20-something pallets on it. So I was like, okay, maybe it's realm specific. Let me try a map that's not at all just even in 2v8. Not even the realm was in 2v8. And I tried Pale Rose. No, there's still 20-something pallets on that map too. They just added a fuck ton of... There's no rhyme or reason. There's no pattern. It's not 2v8 ruined everything. They just straight up shadow buffed Survivor to an absolutely massive degree with no patch note. I just had to just do research and find this out myself. Now, enough talking. Let me just show you some of these ridiculous examples of setups that are now spawning. So, like I said, I went through basically every map in the game with Zancian tactics and just ran through and just straight up counted the number of pallets. Borgo, this is an example of a map that now has at least 22 pallets on it. There is a pallet like every 3 feet on this map, spawning ridiculous structures connected to shack, all chained together. And some of these are not amazing tiles or anything like that. Some of them are pretty not great, but they chain into good tiles, so they become great. Scenarios like that, pallets are not supposed to be able to spawn this close to each other. There's actually a mechanic in Dead by Daylight that makes it so specifically if random generation spawns 2 pallets this close together. Here's another example. This close together, you are not... One of these pallets is supposed to be removed. It's not... You're not supposed to have these this close together. So it seems like the system that's supposed to check for pallets and not place them right next to other pallets is just not working at all. It's just spawning this shit everywhere. Yeah, another example, Father Campbell's Chapel. There are basically 6 pallets within 8 meters of me here. And again, some of them are not great, but they're so closely chained together that they're literally not supposed to spawn. Like, you are not supposed to have these things. In my line of sight right now, there are 5 pallets within 8 meters of each other. It doesn't matter even if they're shitty pallets. At that point, there's so much congestion, you could basically make your own infinite with the dropped pallets. There are so many pallets just right next to each other here. This is a small map, and this map had 21 pallets, I think. It had 20 and 21. I tried like 3 separate reloads to try different seeds to make sure I didn't get some crazy-ass seed, but this is now a new normal thing. So, like I said, I even tried maps that didn't have any relation to 2v8 whatsoever, just to make sure that it wasn't like a realm-specific thing, but no, even Pale Rose, a map that I actually can consider pretty killer-sided, even Pale Rose is spawning these pallets like right next to each other. This is not a normal middle of Pale Rose at all. And I can actually find almost proof that something is bugged because this pallet and this pallet these both are not supposed to spawn. It's supposed to pick one or the other. You can't have both of these. There's that close range protection here that makes it so it can't spawn 2 loops right out of shack. And so it's usually one or the other pallet. But now they're all spawning. It's like every tile that can spawn a pallet is spawning a pallet. Here's the most frustrating part about this. They actually went on record realizing that there was a problem with chained tiles being spawned together. They very recently decided to try to like fix these things. But now they have added such insane combinations of loops, like this tile on the left connected to shack with also a filler on the right. This is a very safe loop by itself. But now it's combined with another tile into shack. Shelter Woods is another map that has changes that are not just simply more pallets. There are definitely more pallets. I counted 21 and 22 in going through different runs. So the map just has way more pallets than before just by default. But this is actually proof that there's something significant going on with the map generation, because where I'm looking right here, this section is never a jungle gym. There were never, ever, it was never able to spawn a jungle gym here. It was always just a rock filler or like one of those wood loops or something like that. But a jungle gym could never actually spawn where I'm currently looking. And now there is one there, and it connects to another one that can normally spawn. So now there's 2 connected jungle gyms there. That is kind of proof that it's not just like, oh, we screwed up a number here. Like, the actual maps themselves are generating 2v8-esque elements into them that weren't present before. Again, it's just like every map. You can sit in one spot, rotate in a circle, and see 4 or 5 connected loops within 8 meters of each other now. And like I said, this was an issue that happened before, but they addressed it. I don't know how they managed to re-add it, so now we're just getting 2 or 3 loops right outside of Shack again. I don't know how we're getting jungle gyms connected to fillers connected to other jungle gyms again, but it seems like they have just brought it back, like, seemingly on purpose, because like I said, a lot of these changes are not just the number of pallets in an area. There are entirely different tiles spawning in different areas. But I should never be able to just sit in the middle of one section and see like 6 pallets just in a small circle. But that's happening so frequently now. And again, like I said, this is not specifically related just to 2v8 maps, though. Even maps that are not in 2v8, as long as they're just associated maybe even with the realm, but that doesn't even apply because basically there's no pattern. I have no idea which maps and why have been changed, but almost all of them that I checked had way, way more pallets than before. Jungle gyms spawning in areas where they weren't supposed to before. There's just a whole bunch of areas that are normally like unsafe, like the corner back there on Thompson House, that have like 3 more pallets there. There's just so much more shit, and this is not in my head. Like I said, I tested this for an hour straight. You can go back on my last VOD and check this, but something is super messed up with map generation. I don't know if it's related to 2v8. All I know is it has made my game significantly, significantly harder to actually win as killer. I noticed my first difficulty when I stopped playing Wraith, who had Spirit Fury Enduring, and I noticed even with Spirit Fury Enduring, I got it like 7 times during the match, which means I minimum kicked 14 pallets, and there were way more to go. That's when I was like, something is not right here. And yeah, no, something is definitely fucked up. They, at the very least, need to address this. This is not just a quality of life change again. They have made core massive changes to most maps in the game that significantly nerfs most killers in the game. So they got to address this in some way. There's something very wrong happening, and I would like to see them, please God, revert it, or just it's been very unpleasant to say the least. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.